Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience tuning in Mississippi and our online audience joining us worldwide through iHeartRadio. We're glad you all could be with us as well. I'm excited to welcome recording artist Madelyn Mandry to our program today to talk to us not only about her love of music, but what it's been like for her to share that through her brand new album called Midnight to Morning. If you guys are just now finding out about the project, we'll let you know how to get it for yourself. For our radio audience joining us in Mississippi, after our segment, you guys will actually hear one of the selections from the project called Mine. We also will let you guys know how to stay connected with Madelyn as well. Madelyn, thank you so much for the time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, look, I'm excited to speak with you. I want to begin with a post that you made on Instagram, Madelyn. I noticed it when I was initially prepping for this segment. When you first released Midnight to Morning, you talked about the transition you were going through, right, from one grade to another, but also how this really was a look at life and what you hope people take away from it. I mean, how does it feel to have put so much of yourself in this album and now to be able to share it with us?
You know, it's honestly a mix of emotions. It's super exciting and just like I'm super excited to see how the world would react to it, but it's also a little bit nerve-wracking, like knowing that you're putting so much of yourself out there and you don't know how the world's going to react. So it was a mix of emotions, but I'm overall super glad that it's out.
Yeah. Yeah, and your supporters have definitely been enjoying it as well, Madelyn, as well as you're giving us a little bit of live performances as well. I mean, have you always known that music was something that you wanted to do?
So growing up, I definitely sang. When I was little, I took singing lessons and stuff, but it wasn't until high school that I started writing songs that I really fell in love with it, and I decided that's what I wanted to do with my life.
And now here you are with an album out. I mean, and that has to be a pretty big moment for you. I mean, to have an album out, you know, for the world to be able to listen to. As I said, our radio audience will be listening to the single Mine. What about the live performance, Madelyn? It seems like you really enjoyed that. I noticed even when you were doing it on Instagram, right, performing there. I mean, how does that feel to be able to perform and to see people respond to your music?
You know, I honestly just love being able to perform because I can see the people and their reaction there in person, or whether it's on Instagram, like I can see their comments and their likes. And so it gives me a good indication of how they're responding to it and how they're liking it. So it's really special to me. My favorite part is just hearing people sing along to the songs or smile and dance to them.
Yeah. So talk to us about the title project, Midnight to Morning, Madelyn. I mean, how did you come up with the idea for the title?
So in the song, Rumor Has It, it says, Midnight to Morning, Learning to Love Me. And that's one of the lyrics of that song. And it was really just, I looked at all the songs and I was like, what have I taken away from all of this? And it was a lot of life lessons, but more than that, it's learning how to love yourself and take care of yourself through the process of growing up. And I think that it's something that I really took away from it and something that I grew in a lot during high school, and how to be confident in who I am and just really go after the things that I desire and hope to do in the future.
And I think that has to be a great feeling, too. You know, Madelyn, one of the things I love talking to our guests about is overcoming fear, because it's not an easy thing to do what you do. I mean, people look at you and they'll say, well, I want to do that. I want to, I want to play the guitar. I want to sing. I want to, have an album, for the world to listen to. But they're not always willing to do the work. Have you always known that if you wanted to reach these different goals, that it was going to take work?
Yeah, I realized along the way that nothing's impossible. You just have to work hard for it and stay with it. And it's funny because I used to be super scared and just filled with fear, and like I wouldn't perform anywhere. I would cry before performances. And then it really took a lot to get out of that comfort zone and put myself out there enough to push past the fear and go for those things.
Yeah. And now you're definitely doing just that. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're really excited to welcome Madelyn Mandry to our program today. Madelyn's talking with us not only about the release of her new EP called Midnight to Morning, but also what it's been like for her to share the music with all of you. You mentioned that line from Rumor Has It. That was one of the singles we're able to see you perform on Instagram. Madelyn, talk to us about social media. Did you know that social media was going to be a big way that you kind of introduced your music to us?
So originally I didn't even have any social medias, and I was just basically kind of doing it in my bedroom. And I kind of realized that, our world is just moving very rapidly, and social media is such a heavy presence for artists. And so I really just started small, and I just started posting, covers and original songs and pictures of what I was doing, and it just has grown to be something that's my main platform as an artist.
Yeah. I think it was interesting for me, again, when I was preparing for this time with you, that I kind of saw two reactions, and I'm curious as to if you've seen this too, Madelyn. You have some people on your Instagram, and I'll just take that platform. I'm following you there, and we're going to let our audience know where to find you, that are congratulating you. They're happy for you. But then you also have people there that are talking about how much you inspire them. I mean, how does that feel to know that you're able to inspire someone just by doing something that you love?
That's like honestly one of the most special things. Like, I hope that other kids and girls can look at me and just say, you know what, like, she may be in high school and she may be young and just fresh into college, but like she's still able to do those things and work hard for her goals. So it's just really sweet and special to me that it's inspiring to them.
Yeah. Well, it definitely is doing that. So, I mean, of course, you're dealing with not only the release of a new project, Madelyn, but you're dealing with the worldwide pandemic like the rest of us are. So you're not out there performing, like you probably would like to be. But have you found that through social media, through going live, that kind of gives you at least a semi-connection there with your audience?
Yes, honestly, that has been the main focus of this pandemic. Is I'll just stay connected with my audience and with my listeners through social media, because I can't go out and necessarily perform live with a bunch of people, but I can post a little video or go live with them and just talk to them and get to know them. And I'm able to make friendships and bonds with them through that.
Yeah, what a great thing. What a great thing. So, I mean, we talked a little bit about where the title of the project came from, Midnight to Morning, from the single Rumor Has It. Our radio audience, as I mentioned, Madelyn, is going to be listening to, after we wrap up this segment, listening to the single Mine. What can you tell them about that particular song?
So, I think that's one of my favorites on the album because it tells a story of just someone who's like starts out and the beginning of the song, you're kind of questioning these things, like it's about a relationship and asking yourself in that relationship, like, does he feel the same way about me that I feel about him? And then as time goes on in the relationship, you start to see those things. They aren't just fears, that they're coming true, and you're like, oh no. And then towards the end of the song, it's like, no, he really didn't feel the same way about me that I did to him. So I think it's cool because it almost shows the timeline of the relationship. So that one is very special and very cool to me.
Yeah. Well, it definitely gives our audience something to look forward to. As I said, our radio audience, you guys in Mississippi, will be able to hear that single after we go off the air. For our audience joining us online through iHeartRadio, you guys will find the link to the entire project actually with this podcast. Again, it's called Midnight to Morning, a great EP you guys can pick up. Of course, we got it through our friends at Amazon.com. You guys can get it at your favorite online retailer. Before we let you go, Madelyn, I want to ask you about that. I mean, how does that feel? I mean, I'm sure you, like the rest of us, used to go to iTunes or some of these other sites to listen to your own favorite artists. How does it feel now to have other people going there to listen to your music?
It's honestly so surreal and so cool because it all just started off like me as a little kid just dreaming about that one day and looking up to artists, and now being able to say, oh, you can check out my music on Spotify and Apple Music is just such a cool reflection of how far I've come, and it encourages me to keep after it and not get discouraged in the pandemic or just in how hard it is to make it as an artist.
Yeah. What a great thing and what a great message. Again, everyone, Madelyn Mandry has been our guest. Great conversation with you. Madelyn, how can our audience stay connected with you?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, any social media platform at Madelyn Mandry, and you can also listen and stream my songs on Spotify or Apple Music. And, yeah, that's the main way to stay connected with me.
All right. Well, Madelyn, congratulations to you again. Thank you so much for the time today, and looking forward to having you back on the program again.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast.
The pleasure's definitely all mine, Madelyn, and we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live.